Let us see if we can investigate the last chunk of this area. Or more people. Fuck. Before people try to. It really surprised me. I'm just trying to say a sentence. Leave me alone. Before more people try to attack me. Shrilandra. I think the spell goes something like this. Blast! I almost had it that time. Don't you know it's dangerous to interrupt spellcasters when they're evoking a spell? Luckily for you, I was only practicing. Well, what is it you want? My apologies for disturbing you. Farewell. Okay. Guess we're not ready to talk to that person yet. Go to the northwestern hive that isn't full of the people what stabbed me.
All right.
The people what stabbed me. They stabbed me. Oh, that particular group got hostile? The running away mechanic is kind of annoying. I guess I should just give up. I kind of just wish they would commit to running away and disappear. But instead they're like insisting on hanging out forever. Like they're just like slightly out of reach and then they stop and then they run away every time I approach them. And I'm like, just leave, run off the screen and despawn. So I guess it's because like, oh, they took damage and they're like, I fear for my life, like somebody should. I'm gonna run away now. But they don't do it good enough. Black Abishai. Is that your name or what you are? What are you yelling? You'll live longer! I don't know what the rest of it was. This black scaled reptile towers to a height of 8 feet. Its great height, however, is offset by its thin, snake-like frame. A long prehensile tail drags behind it, and its leathery wings are hooked behind its back. A strong, vinegary smell emanates from the creature, as well as a certain amount of heat. It seems to be ignoring you. Greetings. Whoa, Chief. Morte cuts in before you can speak to the creature. Bar that. You don't want to be rattling your bone box with any fiend on the street. Leave be. I wanted to ask some questions. No, you don't. Morte glances at the creature, then turns back to you and lowers his voice to a whisper. They're touchy, just let it go. I'll risk it. The black-scaled fiend towers. Greetings. The creature slowly turns its head down to look at you. Its scaled forehead wrinkles into a frown. Then it opens its mouth, giving a low, rasping hiss. You notice that the heat radiating from the creature begins to rise. I would speak with you for a moment. The creature opens its mouth, displaying a row of blackened fangs. Fire begins to dance around the shoulders and arms of the creature as it gives a long, low hiss. Hiss back. The creature roars, then launches itself at you. That was a bad idea. Defend yourself. I'm gonna die.
I hope he doesn't lose his memories this time. You know, Chief, you snore really loud.
You know, Chief, you snore. Dumb bastard. I didn't lose any of my stuff. I guess we just continue on with it. I don't even have to load my save. Look at me go, I died. I super died. I'm not wearing a disguise. My only business is that I am bound for the exit. I mean to cause no trouble. There are guides that can direct you to the antechamber. Do not wander the mortuary unescorted. Thank you for your assistance. I will go speak to the guide.
Done.
By walking to the exit by... Where's the exit? There. Finding the correct spot to click is kind of an adventure sometimes.
I'm gone.
So I guess when I'm in other places they'll attack me, but I'm in there they just like get annoyed that I'm there. What are you doing in here? Get the fuck out! So it ate the shit out of me. I'm super dead. Oh.
I'm gone.
It remembers me, even though I should be by all rights dead. It doesn't seem to be following me though. Alright. We have a lot of combat noise. Fleece. Make you feel right at home! What are you yelling about? You see a man who is looking around at the buildings with some confusion. He looks lost and is mumbling to himself. Greetings. The man looks relieved.
At last! I beg your indulgence, good sir. I seem to have gotten turned around in this maze of streets.
He chuckles uncomfortably.
I'm afraid this area of the city is somewhat...
He glances around apprehensively.
Unknown to me. The residents seem most unwilling to extend aid to a visitor.
He looks at you hopefully.
Could I prevail upon you to help me, perchance?
Wow, you say perchance out loud on purpose. I should rob you. Certainly. Where are you trying to go?
I seek the house of my Aunt Margaret. She is reported to dwell in a house close to the mortuary, but the street layout seems to have changed since my last visit. Do you know of the house of which I speak?
I'm afraid that I have never heard of such a place. The man frowns in disappointment.
I suppose I would have been... It would have been too much good fortune to hope that you would know of such a place.
He nods slightly and thanks.
Well, I thank you for your time, good sir. It is most welcome in these streets.
Farewell. You're about to turn away when you suddenly have a feeling that something is amiss. Suspicious, you glance at the man, and... Again, just in time to see him withdrawing his hand from your purse. You can't be sure, but you think he might have taken something from you. Lost 5 copper. Bait the man into pickpocketing you again and observe his technique. Free training! You engage the man in light conversation and secretly study his movements. The man seems to rely on 2 things. 1, pretending to be a high-class citizen out of his element to lower the target's guard, and 2, distracting the mark by having the victim point out directions. When the victim turns to point at a street or a landmark, the man skims the mark's purse and tucks items into his conveniently long sleeves. You make a mental note for his technique, just as he makes another grab for your purse. Ah, yes, I'll have such use of sleeve-oriented techniques when I'm wearing a fucking loincloth and a Wookiee belt. Grab his hand. Your hand snaps out and wraps around his wrist in a crushing grip. The man gives a yelp and desperately tries to yank it free.
Stop struggling or I'll keep your hand.
There must be something in your tone because he stops struggling instantly. He seems to wilt beneath your gaze. Return what you stole from me. Now. He nods and begins to empty his pockets. He gives you a handful of coins, far more than he stole from you. The total must come to a few dozen copper commons. No, I don't think I'm going to be threatening people. We're even. Now I never want to see you again. He nods. Let him go, then leave. He's got a red marker now. Nobody likes me. Ow! Critical miss, wow. The running away gets old. Can you all stop attacking me constantly?
Damn it.
Critical miss. Oopsie. Have you considered not attacking me? Doesn't work out usually. Oh god, the running is annoying. There's just gonna be people. There's just gonna be a bunch of people that are wounded and running in circles for like the next 70 hours. Come on, give it a rest. You don't want to sleep on the streets. You got killed out here. Who is talking? I want to talk to that guy. Is it Parfiran? Parfiran? Every inch of this man's skin is covered in a web of black lines. It's as if some artist chose to accentuate every crease in his flesh with a quill pen. The overall effect is such that even when his face shows no expression, he appears to be frowning. Greetings. This one has a name. This one is called Parfiran. The man's voice is like a gong. As he speaks, the lines on his face bend and settle in a series of spherical patterns. This one would know. Why do you address this one? I wanted to ask you some questions about the city. This one would have you know. This one cannot answer your questions. The lines on his face twist into angles, then split into a mess of scribbles. This one has only recently stepped foot in this place of walls. Alright, then, But I have to ask you this. Why do those lines upon your face move? The lines show anger. Do you take offense? The lines slowly straighten, forming into gentle curves. No offense was meant. Will you accept the many apologies of this one? No offense taken. Why are you angry? This one tells of event recent. Do you know this one was beset by three? The three demand an item of this one. This one feared an attack. What does this one do? This one surrendered the item. Well, you were right to be afraid. If there were three, then they might have killed you had you not given had you not given up the item. This one has been misunderstood. The lines on his face become angled and smooth into curves again. This one did not fear being killed. This one feared killing the three. Well, if you could have killed them, why did you let them rob you? This one walks the path of a warrior. Many weapons have walked with this one. The fist, the blade, the staff, the hatchet, the smiter. These tools are all known to this one. That's not much of an explanation. Again, if you're a warrior with that much training, why let them rob you? This one is forbidden to attack. The lines ripple across his face as he speaks. If this one has struck at the three in anger, the vow of non-violence would be unmade. He's got a vow against violence. Vow of non-violence? You're a warrior and a pacifist? This one is unfamiliar with your speech. What is pacifist? Never mind. Why did you train so much if you are not permitted to attack another? This one is of the Order of the Eret Agi. We await the final days where all will be called to battle. The training and skill of this one, they are to be kept silent until then. In the meantime, you will let yourself be robbed in the street without defending yourself. This one will clarify. The item is of value. The discipline of the Eret Ag is of greater value. Since you won't fight, any chance you could talk these thieves into returning your item? This one addresses the three thieves. What happens? The requests of this ones are met with scorn. The three will not return the item. I could go see if I could get the item back for you. This one must ask, would you bring violence to the three that have robbed this one? Not if I can help it. This one fears. A message absent of violence will not be understood. The lines on the man's face forms into a series of ellipses. This one is not opposed to you trying. Alright then. What is the item you've lost?
The item is this. A rope of black and red prayer beads worn around the neck. The worth of these beads is not measured in copper. The worth of these beads is measured in faith.
Alright. I'll see if I can find this necklace. Do you know where these 3 thugs might be?
This one knows where the angry words were traded and the item lost. By the bar that burns inside?
Oh, the corpse bar I heard about.
The 3 were outside the place, dressed in black and red.
3 robbers dressed in red and black outside a bar that burns from the outside. That can't be too hard to find.
Farewell.
Updated my journal.
Did the lizard ever leave? Is he still mad at me? Forever and ever and ever? Make you feel right at home! Oh. Oh, there's a thug. Okay, that one's not red. It's the same one? Did he forget?
One ear.
You see a shady-looking fellow standing before you, picking his teeth with what appears to be a tiny metal fork. His chest is covered by a patchwork armor adorned with large spikes, and a long knife hangs at his side. You notice he is missing his right ear. Greetings.
Updated my journal.
He regards you coolly from the shadows as if sizing you up. I had some questions for you. The other one is just straight up like make fun of his ear for being missing. The one-eared tiefling scowls at you threateningly. Pike off, Burke, or I'll have your guts for garters. Wow, mama joke. Alright, ignore his threats and walk away. Vines with black leaves. The stems look extremely sharp.
Come on, Cutter. Let's have a look at her. She'll go. She'll do anything for you. Come on in here, Cutter. Give it a rest.
I say cutter a lot.
On the streets, you get killed out here.
Is everyone a cutter?
She's wonderful. She's luscious. She's yours for a price.
Okay, yeah, now I'm hearing more clearly that they're definitely heavily advertising the prostitutes. Y'all really do just attack me blindly. Alright.
Damn.
How do I inventory? He has a bite? He bites people. So he can carry things around.
I'm gone.
Alright. Well, probably sell these at some point. I'm not picking fights, but they're just attacking me, so I don't see much reason to constantly pretend that's not happening.
All right.
Oh, that's the one that hates me. Cool. Your first impression of Mar is that he needs a long bath, preferably away from any creature that has any sense of smell. You can almost see the stench waft from his body in sinister yellow tendrils. He motions towards you frantically in an effort to get you to come over and talk to him. Approach this person to hear what he has to say. I feel like I'm gonna have an encounter like the Disco Elysium chair, where his smell will just like do health damage over the course of the fight, or over the course of the conversation. A look of excitement crosses his face as you approach.
Thank you for stopping by. My name is Mar, and I have a favor to ask of you.
I'm listening.
'Tis a matter of life and death. I must be delivering this here box, or I'll be my head for sure. 'Tis me bad luck that I twisted me leg something fierce. So will you help me out by delivering this here box for me?
I'll deliver the box for you. Mar slowly takes out a small box from within the recesses of his ragged clothing. For the briefest of moments, you see a look of regret cross his face. Then it is gone, as he looks at you and hands you the box. A slight shimmer surrounds the box as both you and Mar touch it. A sigh of relief is heard as Mar releases the box into your care. He just handed me a cursed item, didn't he? What now? This been needing to be delivered to Quatra. He can usually be found somewheres down in the southeastern section of the Hive. Oh, unless you try to say I didn't warn you, whatever happens, don't open the box. And don't leave the Hive with the box. I'll be off with you. I'll be back when I deliver the box. Farewell.
Updated my journal.
He's just booking it. Yep, this is definitely dangerous. What's all this stuff? There's just dead animals around him. That can't be a good sign. An ornate box. I can't save because there's a hostile creature nearby, even though he does not actually pursue me. You think? Oh. I'm not ready for a new map. Hang on, how do I go back?
Done.
What? I already killed you, go away. Come up with a new thing to do. Oh, don't kill the skull. I need him. He's most useful when alive. Okay, let's go inside. They'll never find me in here. Oh, there's Arlo. The dickhead. A Bari. Look at that! What's your deal? Bariar. Nestor. You see a short, balding man standing in what serves as the foyer to this ramshackle flophouse. His bushy brows are furrowed in concentration as he picks at what appear to be scabs on his large, bulbous nose. Leave the man to his hygiene and explore the room. Greetings. The man doesn't bother looking up. Instead, he continues to stare cross-eyed down at his nose. Yeah, what do you want? Where have I heard of Arlo before? I had some questions. Well, ain't that nice? He flashes you a sarcastic, yellow-toothed smile. And I'm sure you'll be finding the answers someday, but I've got me business to run. So if you don't want a bed, just pike off. Never mind then. Dick. Do. Where is my journal screen? There we go. Arlo. Huh. Who? Nameless One, Morte, Anna. Anna's a tiefling, a brash girl on the brink of womanhood. Her tail lashes when she's angry. She's a canny gutter snipe. And the Hive seems to be a second skin for her. Okay, well this screen seems to give away that the woman we were arguing with become a party member? Straight up in the player character category. So keep that in mind. Let's not forget about her.
I'm gone.
Esther. You see an aging man in soiled and tattered clothes, frantically pacing in the corner. His shock is filthy. His shock of filthy white hair sticks out in every direction, and his face, encrusted with dirt and streaks of dried blood, is covered with gray stubble. Every few seconds he stops pacing and flails about suddenly, muttering and cursing as if assaulted by some unseen foe. He does not seem to notice your approach. Greetings. At the sound of your voice, the old loon whirls about to face you, his wide, staring eyes bulging in their sockets. He regards you for a brief moment, then returns to his raving. No, it's not you. But soon, yes, soon. Who are you talking to? The old man seems oblivious to your presence. You'll come. Yes, you'll come. And old Nestor will be waiting. Are you all right? No! Nestor's face turns beet red, and his whole body shakes in protest. My fork! Can't leave without my fork. Hoo-hoo! Fork! Fork, fork. Your fork? Fork? Fork! Fork! Can't go home without my fork! Nestor's frenzy reaches a violent crescendo. He begins hopping up and down maniacally, then suddenly stops, lowers his head, and runs headlong into a large wooden cupboard that stands against the back wall of the flophouse. The force of the impact knocks the old man flat on his back, and after a few seconds he stands back up, a dazed expression on his face. Gone! Stolen! Can't go home without my fork! Stolen, you say? Who took your fork? Nestor stares at you for a long moment, then begins rummaging through the pockets of his filthy tunic. After a few seconds, he produces what appears to be a dismembered ear. Judging by the stench and color of the ear, you'd wager that the old loon has been toting it around in his pocket for some time. You have my fork, don't you? Don't you? Hoo-hoo! He holds the ear close as if speaking to it. Bring back my fork. Maybe I can help you. Wait. Waiting. Hoo-hoo! He shakes the ear violently as he shouts into it. Until you bring it back, then I can go home. Right, I'll try to find your fork then. Farewell.
Updated my journal.
Sure seems to point at the guy with one ear. I don't think that he's going to be happy if I'm like, hey, so the guy with your ear wants his fork back. And then you get murdered. The end. You see the tall figure of a creature standing before you. The lower portion of its body resembles that of a goat. However, just above its powerful forelegs, its shape takes on a more human appearance, with a man's torso, arms, and head, all of which are covered in polished armor. The creature's eyes are closed and it appears to be sleeping. Greetings. Just be rude. The creature snorts briefly, but its eyes remain shut. Apparently, it is not a light sleeper. Let the creature sleep. Are you? Where the fuck is the journal? There we go. Nope. I'm like, is this a party member for the future hanging out? I swear I've heard the name Arlo before, but maybe I'm not thinking of this game. Oh boy! Okay, not all of you at once, please. Wait your turn. The Ragpicker square is up there. I need to find the zone transition, because that's where we're trying to go, ultimately. Okay, everyone in this town's trying to attack me. It's not a good time, all things considered. You wouldn't have happened to have lost that ear while robbing an old man here in the Hive. I don't know what you're talking about, Burke. He glares at you angrily. Now I suggest you get your mangled carcass out of my sight before I carve my name into you. Certainly. Just give me the fork you stole from him and I'll be on my way. With a flash of movement too quick to follow, he whips his knife from its sheath and begins waving it menacingly before you. Why don't you come and take it from me, Burke? Why don't you put that blade away before you get hurt? You sure do have a sharp tongue, Burke. I think I'll cut it out and feed it to you. He lunges at you, his knife leading the way. Owie. Well, now everyone in the zone's attacking me. Guess we get to find out the hard way how much health he has. Diplomacy did not accomplish much this time. Oh. Okay, that's not the one that attacks me. He just coincidentally walked right up? Okay. A high-quality stiletto. Wow, the guy wore high heels? One to 4. Meh. mean, it's better than that one, I guess. Scalpel. I already have a 1 to 4 weight of 0. 1 to 4 speed 1. I don't think I have much reason to use one or the other. So I'm getting along well with the locals.
Hey, Cutter, come here. Come on in and sleep it off. Have a good one.
Come on and sleep it off. Have a good one. I'm not preferring violent options, but they're just coming at me. Is this the fork you speak of? Nestor hastily snatches up the fork. My fork! My fork! 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 Woohoo! He hops up and down excitedly, waving the fork back and forth in an elaborate pattern above his head, as if he were performing some kind of ritual. Now I can go home! Farewell! Woohoo! Farewell, Nestor. Nestor turns to leave. Then, as if struck with some afterthought, he turns back around and hands you a scrap of something soft and rubbery. The severed ear. Upon closer examination, you notice that there is an earring still dangling from it. Pocket the earring and discard the rotting piece of flesh. Agreed. Goodbye. So that was his portal. That was his key for his portal. Okay. One ear's earring. The small earring is made from polished obsidian. Despite the smoothness of its surface, it reflects no light whatsoever. Identify. I'm not cool enough to do that. What a loser. Why do I have a cobblestone? This is a polished cobblestone that was lodged into the zombie's skull. It still has traces of brain matter dripping from it. Okay. Get out of my inventory, please. Just got like a nonsensical inventory here. What? This guy can carry like twice as much as I can. God damn. Rude, frankly. How you doing all that? What's up, bro? You keeping secrets from me? Okay, let's run this way so the dragon doesn't get me. Ow! Run! Okay, fuck it. Kill this guy. He's literally trapped me somehow. He will suffer the consequences of his choices. Stop attacking me. It doesn't work. Unless you're that dragon. What? Definitely didn't work for one ear.
You see that?
Dude, the people in the zone are really persistent. Okay, come on. It's like physically hard to even walk around. Uh-oh. Ouchies. I have received ouchies. This is compiling into a big enough problem. Use. Use. What? Okay, I need an explanation. I don't pay in clipped copper, I don't. Tout, I'll get you where you're going, only 1 copper. Those are unrelated, maybe? Or was that just the visual effect of using that item once I came out of combat mode? Maybe. That was a little confusing. I thought I was like being restrained by magic or some shit. Please kill him before he kills me, thank you. Friend or foe? Okay, friend. Not friend, but not foe. Hang on a minute. Am I dying? Not afflicted by anything, okay. I thought my health was slightly higher. I didn't think I was in red portrait mode. So I was like, uh-oh, am I bleeding? He'll heal for a bit. Alright. Did I do something to make these guys mad at me? They're really, really persistent. I don't think I attacked one of them to begin with. I assume they're just like, it's because they're thieves, but holy shit, they're actually getting like persistent and it's becoming a problem. I need some more combat skill. Can't level yet. Not for another like 2,000 experience. We're not that close. And 65 per fight isn't that worth it. Doing something clever or a story beat helps. Like when I observed him thieving. Alright, so here's where all the collectors are. Assuming direct control. Yellow fingers. Gross. This weaselly-looking fellow is skulking about the garbage like a tattered shadow. Seeing you and Morte, he beckons to you.
Psst. Hey. The skull. Where'd you get that skull, eh? Me skull it is. Give it back to me.
Morte turns to the Hiver.
Pike off.
This is not your skull.
You calling me a liar, eh? Skull's mine. Mine.
He mumbles for a moment, eyes rolling and darting.
You're the thief. Spitting lies. I'll gut you.
I wouldn't try it. The man glances at you, eyes narrow. Suddenly, he attacks. Alright. Ow. Stop it. I need a break from being attacked by everyone.
I'm gonna kill you for that thing that's yours.
Everyone just wants my shit. I'm just getting attacked. This guy's whistling merrily. Will he not attack me? Please? Please don't attack me. This man is whistling a cheerful tune, playing with a well-kept fighting knife. As you approach him, he stops whistling and gives you a curious look.
Eh? What you want?
I had some questions.
My name is Ratbone Cutter. I'm a thief for hire and the employee of Sharegrave, the boss of the collectors you see around here at the square. He pays me mostly to learn his lads to be real quiet like, and how to fight if they runs into a spot of trouble. That's likely the only questions I'll answer for you, Cutter.
He sniffs and shrugs. Thief for hire? Could you train me?
Sure, for a spot of jink.
Been trained before? No, I haven't.
That's fine.
I'm gonna cuff you now, so dodge it. He suddenly swings his open hand at your head. Dodge the blow. You avoid Ratbone's blow. Not bad, Cutter. Now about that spot of jink. 50 commons and I'll see you trained right up. I thought he was saying 50 commons was what he charges for for trying to punch me. Sounds good. Here.
You knows you gots to stop doing whatever you're doing now, right? You can't be a warrior or whatnot and a thief. Are you alright with that, Cutter?
Yes, I am. I never wanted to be a warrior.
Let's get to it then. What I'm about to learn you here are a thief's 6 best bloods. Sneaking about, hiding, picking locks and pockets, finding and removing traps, and my favorite, stabbing plucky burks in the back.
Go on.
Sneaking about, hiding in the shadows and moving real quiet like is real handy. Better a live git than a dead Cutter, eh? Not only do you stay out of harm's way, if you does want to stick someone, you've got the upper hand right off. But I'll tell you more of that later. Keep in your mind, though. You can't go sneaking if someone's already looking at you.
Go on.
Picking pockets and locks is a good thing, too. Supplement the old income and such. Just be sure to runs if you get caught picking a pocket.
And always check for traps if you're picking a suspicious lock. If you're gonna look for traps, just check the area over nice and slow. Sometimes it'll take you a moment or two to see them. If you does find a trap, use your skills to disarm the blighted thing. It's a lot like picking a puzzle lock, really. The last thing I'll learn you is the backstab. Ratbone sighs happily. If you manage to sneak up on a bugger and you wants to start a row, just attack the sod from behind. You got a much better chance of hitting them when you do. You hits harder. Alright, let's get to training. Ratbone nods. Alright, Cutter. First off, you got to relax. You're too tense. You're gonna have to let your instinct take over at times, and trust your hunches. And so, your training as a thief begins. Learn all you can.
Updated my journal.
3,000 experience, that's a level. After a long period of training, Ratbone nods at you in satisfaction. I must say, Cutter, never have I runs across a fast learner. I'd almost say you've done this all before. Ha 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 ha. As Ratbone speaks, you come to realize that you have done this before. That at one time you possessed all these skills and the training has reawakened them. Perhaps I have, Ratbone, and simply forgot. Thanks, and farewell.
I feel stronger.
I'm so powerful, and I can level up. Let's do a level up. Now I've got points. Stealth, detect traps, pickpockets, and open doors. They're 1-to-1? Okay. Well. Stealth probably pays off a little bit more. It's a little tempting just to sit here and even them all up. 40 thief skills gained, 0 characteristic points gained, 2 hit points gained. Aww. I don't get to level up any of my stats this time. It is an odd level. Do you get a skill every a stat point every 4th level, like in 3.5? Is that 3.5 and 5? I don't remember.
This
Definitely
is
one.
probably the worst place we can be in Sigil at the worst time.
My attack. Weapon proficiencies fist and edged weapon. This is piercing. Proficiency edged, okay. So I have a proficiency for this dagger, which makes sense. Thief's a pretty good one for anything vaguely immersive simmy, where you have like a variety of solutions to problems. If you have good talking stats and some thief abilities, then you can do a lot of things and open up a lot of world. Take a drink of water. Ha! A lot of voicing. Sharegrave. Tall and lanky, this pale, grim-looking man exudes authority despite his gangly and somewhat awkward frame. A good portion of his left ear is missing. What little that's left is a ragged mess of scar tissue, as if the ear was bitten off rather than cut. His narrow, shifting eyes, almost mere slits, look clever. Dangerous. Greetings. I've updated my journal. It's just those 2 lines over and over again. He has a very standard way of greeting everyone, which is, what it says on the tin, I guess. He spits out a reply. I don't know you, Burke. He glares at you. What do you want? Answer quick before I call in some men and make quick work of you. Who are you? He scoffs and looks at you incredulously. Burke, who
I am is the second thing you should have known before you stomped your shriveled up, corpse-looking self in here.
And what's the first thing?
That I hate visitors and I loathe strangers. You're both.
He sneers and taps his finger to his temple.
Figure the rest out on your own.
Calm down. I don't mean any harm.
Oh, you don't say. Well, that makes it all piking better then, don't it? Now I'm gonna ask you one more time before your ass hits the street, possibly in several pieces. What do you want?
I had some questions. He's quiet for a moment, then nods.
Like so? That's so. Like what?
I'm looking for a man named Farod. The tension in the room suddenly rises.
Now what a funny thing to be asking about. What do you want to know about old blood Farod for?
This is very risky. You can say he's a friend of mine, but then he might attack you because he hates Farod. Or he could be friends with Farod and go after you for saying that he has something. He stole something from me and I want it back. The man's silent for a moment, then cracks a smile.
He steals from us all, don't he? Whether we're living or dead.
What do you mean?
Our main source of living around here is the dead, you follow?
You're a collector.
Aye, that's right.
He looks at you as if he's considering something. Yeah, killing me.
Now, there's only so many debtors here at one time. My bloods and I can only gather up so many. If somebody else is gathering debtors, that's much less jink that goes into our pockets.
So...
Updated my journal.
The rub is he's got a motherload of them. Now, I haven't heard of any massacres in Sigil.
He frowns, tapping at his chin.
So I'm quite interested in knowing where all the debtors are coming from.
I figured everybody hates this guy, so I leaned towards that idea. If I said if we were friends, that he might have attacked me. I could find out for you, for a price. He looks at you for a moment, tugging out the remains of his left earlobe.
Alright, name your price, and we'll deal.
200 copper coins.
Updated my journal.
He thinks a moment before finally nodding.
Alright, deal. Come back here with the dark of it, and jink will change hands. You need to know where old Farod is? Yes. Go up on the platforms, follow them to the north and west, and you'll come to a gate that leads to Farod's bolt hole. Getting in and getting the information is your deal. If anyone asks, you don't know me, and we never had this talk. Here?
Who are you?
For a smart cutter, you don't listen too well.
I kind of like my character being a little bit of a himbo because the dialogue's funny when he asks a lot of really stupid questions. And it's in character because as a JRPG, or as a RPG protagonist, you ask a lot of stupid questions anyway. So asking even dumber questions is just fantastic.
All right.
The underbelly of this platform is thick with razor vine. It looks like it's holding the platform together. The characters in this game are unusually fun to voice. There's a lot of, there's usually less personality, frankly, and it gets kind of monotonous. But I just get to kind of fuck around and then have some emotion in it and yell a little bit. Nod. As you approach the hooded, brown-robed man, you notice that he's mumbling to himself softly and occasionally nodding. Huh? Greetings.
Someone comes to speaks to nod. Speaks to nod, aye.
He suddenly breaks into a fit of hacking coughs, then nods to himself. What are you doing?
Nothing, except looking for debtors. Nothing else.
He sniffs, then gives another hacking cough. He mumbles for a moment, then speaks again.
Nothing else. Need the jink. Jink, jink.
Debtors. The man nods.
Debtors. Can sell them to the trustees.
You can sell the corpses. He starts nodding without really looking at you. Haul him to the black place, the mortuary. He tilts his head back and forth and nods again. There. The Dusties. They haggles and gives jink. They takes the debtors in, they do. Aye. And nod, don't talks to him till the next body. He sniffs, wiping at his nose with the back of his hand. What is this place? He frowns and licks his lips. Ragpicker's Square. The square. Trash everywhere. Aye, everywhere. He coughs. I had some questions. He nods. What? He sniffs, then squints at you. Jink. He taps his head, points to you, then points to his hand. He wants to know something. Jink. Aye, jink, jink. Throw him 5 coppers. Jink for nod, jink, jink. He mumbles for a moment, hiding the copper coins away in the folds of his robes. Ask. Nod answers, yeah. A nod tries to answer, yeah. Aye. He coughs for a bit and spitting something off to the side. You know of a man named Farad? He looks frightened and starts to shake his head. Farad. 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 He scratches at his head. What? What about him? He frowns, then shakes his head as if he is not sure he should be speaking to you. You know where I can find him? He shakes his head, then mumbles, and he glances quickly at you, then begins to murmur again to himself. It sounds like he's uttering a prayer against evil. Not here. In Square. He frowns, as if unsure how to explain it. But not in the Square. He shakes his head again, then coughs. Tell me about this area. He points to ground, nodding. The Square. Ragpicker Square. Trash everywhere, aye. Sharegrave Square. He mumbles to himself for a moment. Tell me about Sharegrave, that's the person I just talked to. Sharegrave's long, a shadow long. Falls over Nod, it does. Aye. Nod gives some his jink to oh, he's still talking. Whoops. Nod gives some of his jink to Sharegrave. Sharegrave tells others of in his shadow. Watches out for Nod. Aye. He sniffs, nodding slowly. I'm looking for a journal that I've lost. No. He shakes his head vigorously. No journal. He sniffs, wiping his nose with the sleeve. That's all I wish to know. Farewell. He shakes his head, coughs, then resumes his nodding. You'd ask a nod, I'd not ask a question for you, I paid you, though. Fuck you. No, go ahead, ask your question. Nod is a sister. Amaris. Lives in the Hive. Away from here. Away from the Square. So long. Long ago, Nod was separated from his sister. Taken away. So, your question is...
Updated my journal.
You don't know her? He shakes his head sadly for a moment, chewing his lower lip. If you sees her, if he does, tell her Nod, her brother, worries about her. Aye, he does. He worries. Why don't you go find her? No! Nod covers his head with his arms, mumbling to himself. Nod can't speaks right no more, he can't. But not nay. And he smells the corpses and the dirt of the Square. Ragpicker Square. No. The outburst sends him into a fit of hacking coughs. What happened to you, Nod? Nod sniffs, looking at the ground quietly. Finally, he begins nodding to himself, speaking softly. Nod was young. Aye, he was. Started hearing voices, telling Nod do this, do that. Bad things, bad, like chewing on Nod's fingers. He holds his hands to his face and you can see old bite scars beneath the caked-on filth. Go on. So Nod's parents takes him aways, they does, puts him in the dark place,
a winged tower, where they pokes needles and hooks in Nod's head. Voices stop, aye, they do, but Nod can't think right, can't talks right. Nod escapes the place, he does, wakes up in the Hive, aye.
They lobotomized him, didn't they? Or something like that?
Where is this winged tower? Dunno. Bad place, bad.
He shakes his head violently, clutching at his temples before resuming his usual nodding.
Go on with your story. Nod wakes up. There's collectors, aye. Collectors poking at Nod, saying, look, not a debtor. Debtor is not. Take 'em back, takes 'em. And they takes Nod back, they does. Back to the square. So long. Years. Long years ago. Alright. I'll find your sister for you. Nod thanks you, he does. Nod thanks you. Amaris was pretty. So pretty. Lives in the Hive now. Fair skin she was. Hair like jet, and always in blue. Blue, she was always in blue. Farewell, Nod.
Updated my journal.
People are having an extremely rough time here. And these are the people that aren't in a cult about how miserable life is. Yeah. Deal with more of that healing over time kicking in. You get 1 health every now and then, but I've got like 40. The sagging platform looks as if it's about to collapse. The midwife's hut. Is down here. Jaren.
What? Who? Greetings. I don't really have time to talk to you. You see, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to complete my spell without the key component. Maybe I can help.
Jaren pauses for a second.
I guess it couldn't hurt. I'm in need of a ruby to complete my spell. It must be of exceptional quality, not like the junk they sell at the marketplace. If you find one, bring it back to me and I shall make it worth your while. A ruby. Farewell.
Updated my journal.
Well, that's that entire quest for now. What is the spell for? I feel like I should be a little worried about that. The Nod situation's brutal. So he has a condition that deserves treatment, but they don't really have useful treatment around here. They're firmly in the era where they would give like children was it heroin? And treat women for hysteria and lobotomize anyone who's just not behaving right. Like, permanent brain damage, that ought to fix it. And it addresses some things, but doesn't actually do anything. It's just like, this thing's not behaving right. Break it until it's less annoying. It's like, alright, cool, good era of history. That's the level of medical technology we're dealing with, apparently. Not a good sign. I let somebody sew me up earlier, while I was alive. I guess I can take it.